So lately in my videos I've been talking about stalling too much. Let me explain stall teams and why you should avoid them before Camelot, and I'd say avoid them till content is truly hard. So let's get this video started. Also, I just want to mention that this video is for beginners and newbies only. So if you already know this, then give me some feedback on how this video went. But this is only for newer players at FGO, and I just want to explain stall teams. Stall teams are meant for high round fights, meaning you'll be in a fight for 20 to 17 rounds and slowly chip at the boss till they are dead. This is a great team build you can do to tackle hard content in the game, especially as a free-to-play player. They are also great if you like high DPS or can't get servants to do high DPS. We will utilize some stall teams in the future, so don't get the idea I'm against stall teams. They are great, but I only have 2 reasons for why you shouldn't even consider making them your main focus in the early game. You may have seen like a video where someone tried a stall team and you thought, okay, well that's the way to go. Stop right there, newbie. Let me explain. There could be more reasons, but I'm gonna keep it simple. Number 1, I'm gonna describe it with 3 words: low HP grind. What I mean with this is that there is always going to be a minimum of 13 chapters per singularity from Fuyuki to Babylonia, although Fuyuki has 11, but that's the start, so let's call that an exception. Also, let me just point out that there's 22 chapters for Babylonia in the American singularity. That's a lot, especially when it requires you to do 3 to 4, even upwards of 6 arrows to complete 1 chapter of 3 row enemies. You'll get 2 or 1 arrow chapters here and there, but the majority is a minimum of 3 arrows per chapter. So you get the idea where I'm going with this. Stall teams are great because they are almost guaranteed the victory if successfully done. However, imagine all this grind you have to do while on a stall team. Say it takes you upwards of round 12 or 15 to just complete arrow 1 of 3 in a singularity with 22 chapters, with all the enemies being around the 20k HP mark. You are going slow and making the game purposely boring for yourself. It's not hard to make a stall team when it's required to have one, because by the time you'll truly utilize one, you'll have enough materials and decent servants to farm experience to make those stall team servants shine. Now you may say, oh, but there are bosses in the early game or early singularities with like 200k HP. This will lead into my second point, but if we are talking early singularities, so part 1 of FGO, you won't have any issues with high HP bosses till you reach Camelot and meet Gawain. Now, this is great because this will lead into reason number 2, and that is stall teams will get you killed early on in the game. The biggest strength the bosses in the early singularities have is they can use their noble phantasm, and if you're using tanky servants like Georgios, Mashu, Leonidas at level 40, they are not prepared for a noble phantasm that hits for 20k on the whole party. In fact, that support you chose probably isn't ready either. It's why I always say just use what you have or bring berserkers. These are punching bag enemies or bosses that you have to fight. All you have to do is not stall and get moving, or else you'll play to their strengths. FGO early is extremely easy, so don't make it hard on yourself by trying to synergize and strategize too much early. Focus on pushing through the content, and then when push comes to shove, you can focus on making a proper team for what you need, because by the time the game says, hey yo, stop there for a minute buddy, your level 40 Heracles isn't gonna push me around anymore. You'll have enough materials in your item list to go pick up some servants, max ascend them, give them skill upgrades, and make something solid. So that's basically my 2 reasons on stall teams. Probably gonna do a guide on how to actually use stall teams and when to use them. This video is just for beginners and just giving you some insight into what stall teams are and when they're good to use them. I'm not making this video to hate on stall teams or to hate on people who like stall teams. I'm just making this video to guide newbie players and give them some advice and explain what stall teams truly are. So with that being said, I hope you guys like this video, because I'm thinking of doing these type of videos where I explain topics of FGO or like certain strategies and stuff about the game. So yeah, hopefully this was short enough, informative enough, and it gives you an idea on what you want to do in FGO. Of course, you can always play the game however you want to play, because that is how it's truly meant to be played, by you doing what you want to do. But if this video did help you and gave you some insight into what stall teams are and why you should avoid them early on, please leave a like, subscribe, and do all that good stuff. With that being said, thanks for watching, and see you guys on the next one.